all the lymph nodes, okay, that we have all around the body. So this is what consists the immune system. And these cells, we have here, more names. Again, I don't mean for you to know all these names, but these, when we go to the doctor and they order a white cell count, that's what we are measuring, the number of these cells. These are the white cells. The red cells are the red blood cells. And the white cells represented here by monocytes, macrophage. Macrophages is the cell that will eat up the cells that are degraded, or bacteria, other things like this. Neutrophils, dendritic, eosinophils, mast cell, basophil. Anyway, they are all called white cells because they don't have hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the substance that makes our red blood cells red. Okay? So these are all the cells in our defense system. They are called guardian cells. They guard our body against the invaders. And here are just some of the invaders. We have many more. Okay? Bacteria, parasites, fungus, and viruses. Okay? Just to mention a few. And again, whenever our body is invaded by these creatures, the cells recognize that we have something that does not belong to our body. So our body is not attacked by the immune system because the immune system recognizes what is ours, what belongs to our body. When these elements get into our system, they are recognized as non-self and they are attacked by those cells. So we have like alert signals when the bacteria, virus, all these creatures enter our system. They have like some markers that are recognized, and our cells, our guardian cells, recognize that, and they produce something called antibody. Okay? So this antibody is what is going to guard us against a secondary infection by those elements. So if I have an invasion by a virus or a bacteria, my system will recognize that, will keep a memory, will make antibodies that will be specific against those elements. That's how vaccine works. Vaccine, sometimes we receive a vaccine that contains a piece of a bacteria or a virus, and then our body will make antibodies against that particular thing that will be recognized when we acquire one of these viruses or bacteria. So then we have a population of cells that will attack that specific element. So here are some of these cells. For example, here the bacteria, the virus were recognized. There were cells of the immune system that produced antibodies, and when they come in the system again, these cells will recognize and immobilize them. And then it will depend on how healthy is our immune system to have the result. So sometimes every day we've been attacked by these viruses and bacteria. They are in the air that we breathe, right? And why don't we get sick every day? Because our immune system is immobilizing this bacteria, these invaders, these viruses all the time. Now, when our system, immune system, gets deficient, then we start getting sick. And I'm sure that you all have this experience. When we get too stressed out, when we work too much, we don't have enough sleep, we cannot eat well, we get too stressed, what happens? We get sick more frequently, right? Even like a cold. We get a cold, we get cutaneous rash, we get allergy, we get everything more frequently. Why? Because our immune system is not able to fight against the invaders. And we're going to see how that works. How come stress which is here up in the mind, controls the immune system, that the immune system is not able to fight them. And we were talking about invaders, but our immune system works also in defending us against cancer. That's why researchers have found that one of the factors that may make us more sensitive to develop cancer is stress, okay? Deep stress. Why? Because our immune system is also responsible for recognizing cancer cells, represented here. When a cell becomes cancerous, it develops some signals that are not recognized as self anymore, so the immune system goes there and attack them and immobilize them and prevent them from growing and forming cancer. But sometimes our immune system is not able to do that, and these cells develop and develop and develop. Okay? So we have to be very careful about that. And here is just a cartoon exemplifying that, but here is a photo that shows a cancer cells and represented here by the green immune cells. So the immune cells like bind to that cancer cells, trying to immobilize, trying to degrade that cell so it doesn't develop. We are sensitive, we are prone to develop cancer cells every day. But our system, not only the immune system, but our whole system has a defense mechanism against that sometimes fails. So if you don't remember all the names, here's a cartoon to tell you about, who are those immune cells, what they do, and so forth, so on. I'm not going to go over the cartoon, but you're welcome to have it if you like. So far we have been talking about the mind, which represents the spirit, the body, that's our material part. But there is another part. A human being is composed of three essential elements, three essential parts. The body, or material being, animated by the vital principle. The soul, that is an incarnated spirit, that is a spirit who inhabits the body. And the perispirit, which is an intermediary between the body and the spirit, and actually connects both. So here, just for you to kind of have an analogy to what the perispirit is. Peri means around, surrounding. So here is, most fruits that have a seed inside, whatever is outside is called peri. And in this case, pericarp, sometimes perisperm. So pericarp here in the nut, walnut, we have two parts. One that is a more close to the nut itself, and an outer one. So they call inner pericarp and outer pericarp. So let's think that the pericarp here, the spirit, is represented by the nut itself. And we have this part here, which is the inner pericarp, which represents, in our case, just to make an analogy, the perispirit. And the outside is the final shell, which is our body. Okay? So the body goes, the shell goes, but the inner part is attached to the core, okay? To the spirit. So the perispirit, once the body goes, once we die physically, the body goes, but the perispirit remains with the spirit. And whatever affects the body may also affect, depending on what it is, may affect the perispirit, and the perispirit is the first part that needs to heal in order for the body to heal. And if you don't know much about perispirit, you can learn this in Spiritism, in several of the books of Spiritism, but also Dr. Jim Tucker, who is a scientist from the University of Virginia, has very interesting studies. Dr. Jim